thing we usually do, but we are gonna start with reading out the mission, vision, and values, and maybe that's the best use of our first few minutes while people come in. And maybe Nate, will you read the vision and then pass it on?
Yes, I will. One sec. All right, the vision is enable the creation of ethical, safe, resilient, and diverse economic systems to benefit societies around the world. And I will pass it back to you.
I'll pass it to Metaverde. Do you want to read the mission out?
Will be my pleasure. Our goal is to become a Schelling point for the token engineering community. Our economic layer will fund projects that discover, develop, and proliferate the best practices for engineering safe, tokenized economies while aligning our collective success with the individual benefit of token holders. Our social layer is even more important, here, as it will unite the token engineering field around the ethical principles, standards, tools, and methodologies that emerge as this nascent field advances. I'm just going to drop in here. It's really nice that there are places in blockchain where people can go that isn't like When Moon Lambo stuff. Oh, and I'll pass it back.
I'll pass it on, actually.
All right. Let me look. Livy, would you like to read the values?
Yes. Our Commons operates from a pro-social, human-centered perspective and prioritizes the advancement of token engineering over short-term profits. Integrity, curiosity, constructive inquiry, presence, and gratitude are foundational for maintaining mutual respect within our growing community. We encourage our members to be radically open source, non-hierarchical, transparent in their intentions, and accountable for their actions.
So I thought today we would do something a little different than a temperature check, and just like in your own words, in your own interpretation, what does the mission, vision, and value of the TEC mean to you personally? Like how do you interpret it, and how do you sort of keep it front and center when you're operating in the TEC? And maybe I'll pass to you, Livia, to get us started. I'm setting a timer for 2 minutes, so I'll unmute when the timer's about to go off.
In my own words, I think we are building a token engineering project by building a token engineering project that will fund other token engineering projects and advance other token engineering projects through the things we've been learning here. So it feels like I always have this meta vision of how the things we've been doing are like a prototype of the things that we want to support being done. And I think we're creating this very like beautiful foundation based on so many values where people can feel good being here and respect each other and operate through this kindness and openness. And I hear so much of people that feel like the TEC is the best place to learn. And I think it's amazing how, all of those pillars together made a very safe environment for people to learn about token engineering, to work on token engineering projects, to continue to foster this very creative environment for this emerging discipline that we are all learning what we're doing while we're doing also. And I'll pass to Juanca.
I think that how I interpret the mission is that we want to make the best for the token engineering field as a nascent field, to consolidate it and to promote good practices within the token engineering community, and to be a gathering point that tries to innovate and tries to be also conscious about some of the common mistakes that happen when you only follow a goal, but you don't have like common values that serve like rules for everyone and for promoting a common understanding. I will pass to Nate.
Thanks, Wonka. Yeah, in my own words, I think the mission of the Token Engineering Commons is to create safe economic systems, token economic systems within this space, and make sure that we fund projects that are building the infrastructure that allow for things like standardization and community support, and setting a blueprint on how to make sure that you have a small microeconomy that can reflect the shareholders that it impacts. And so I guess that would be my interpretation in my own words of what our mission is about and all the incorporated values that go along with it. I will pass it to Septi.
Oh, thanks, Nate. Yeah, for me, the token engineering commons should provide, like, the goal of the token engineering is create all these token engineering tools so the society will benefit in the way like these tools are going to be free to them to use. And yeah, that's how you like you advance the field, but at the same time you are keep centered in society. So yeah, make sure like all this value goes back to society. And yeah, that's how I see it. And I'll pass it to Santi.
Thank you, Septi. I think that my vision is that we are serving basically two groups or two communities. One is groups that want to create or launch an economy and don't know how to do it, don't know where to find tools, and groups that are developing tools to create and manage economies. And that's the vision I see for Token Engineering Commons. And the mission is to support both those who develop and those who are looking for those tools to create economies or to launch economies. And of course, the values, I resonate with all the values. And I also think that what Juan Carlos was mentioning is really important, to take into account all the community and not only the engineering part of the economies. And I don't know who's missing. Metaverde is missing.
Oh, no, it's good.
I'm here. So this is how the mission, vision, and values, how I keep that in mind when I'm interacting. I'm gonna go back to when I first joined and I got so salty and felt like things were going badly and I wasn't being appreciated. And then when I finally said something about it, how Juan came in and helped and how much gravity helped. And so like what I keep in mind when I'm interacting with the community is that this really is a safe place and there really are safeguards in place to help some of us that maybe don't adjust so well to social situations. And I don't know who to pass it to.
I can take it.
Oh, Griff. I'm so sorry, Griff.
No, it's cool. Everyone always skips me. I'm always last. I have accepted this. It's okay, though. I like the last word, although
It's because
Chewy
it
just
goes
came
to
in.
our hearts and minds.
Yeah. So I think the mission is really to be a source of value for token engineers to create and really. Okay, so I couldn't agree more with what Santi said, like the two different audiences, the people who are token engineers and being like kind of an engineering society for them to unite. Maybe we can support conferences and public goods for them to make their lives easier, and then also be a resource for the new people that are coming in and want to create an engineer an economy, that we can support them in their work, like with like Token Engineering Academy and these other organizations, that we can actually support them through our economy and fund them. And I also really like this idea that I think came up a couple of times of like, this is not just the tech, maybe to rewrite the story and the definition of what token engineering really is to building communities that can have their own economies, and really support in that, reminding people that this is a social science and economics is so much more than just a bunch of stuff on a blockchain, and to really manage that and promote this concept that this is what we need to do to be successful. So that's that, and I hope that through that, in many ways, amplify, or I assume that's the name, Chewy, but the TE Comms DAO, for lack of the entity formerly known as TE Comms DAO, will be really critical for like promoting this message and really like speaking for token engineering and being like the Schelling point for communicating these ideas to the world. And I'll throw it to Chewy. Chewy, the idea was to restate the mission of the TE Commons in your own words.
Thanks, Griff. Just the mission or the whole MVV?
Really, how do you interpret it, and how do you like, in your own words, what does it mean to you, and how do you feel like you interact with it in the community?
I feel that well, this analogy about building bridges and testing them for resilience, I feel that it applies really well. So I feel that as a mission, it's pretty straightforward. Trying to, let's say, like prevent like catastrophes or bridges to fall, right? So if the world is taking these steps so that communities can be empowered, I feel that the TEC is going to provide like extra like value and strength as a public good. But I really love how it like it justifies like the human side of it more than the technological side of it. It reminds me like of the like the One Hive slogan, like come for the honey and stay for the bees. I feel that people in the TEC are gonna like come for the tech but stay for the community also, since there is like a very strong like human like center of what we like what we do, right? So I feel that this sensitivity also is a really good example of how this human side can coexist with technology. And I feel that our MVV is a combination of these elements that are going to be like very important in the next decade for community.
Cool. And I guess I'm the last one to go. And I'll say there's something really, I don't know, that like, I feel like I say this, like the key, the way to unlock the mission for me is that it's about token engineering. So it's about supporting the creation of an entirely new field of engineering, but doing it in a way where, because this is a new field of engineering that is the tools to build the future, we need a new culture in order to be able to use those tools. If that makes sense. So we're supporting. We need the right culture to support these tools that will create new cultures based on using those tools. So there's sort of like this cyclical thing. So there's a little bit of a nesting there. And I feel like that's what it means. That's what I think about when I think about token engineering. I don't think about, the end of this year or next year. I really think about 2040, 2080, 2090, and what those worlds will look like, because there's this new engineering that makes completely new human interactions and interactions with value and interactions with government feasible in a way that it's never been feasible before in the history of humanity. And the other thing is that with this new innovation comes a new way that people interact with each other, decentralized and almost self-governing and small economies. And that requires a certain culture. And it's, the values, I think, really speaks to that. So the mission speaks to this new world, and then the values speaks to how we can interact with each other to create that new world. Thanks, everyone, for doing that. All right, so public service announcement of the day. Have you checked your GitHub notifications? If not, now's a great time to do it. And maybe we'll have a quick check-in. And go ahead, Livia.
Every time you bring that up, I want to ask that question, but then I think I'm not going to interrupt the call to do that. I'll ask her another time, but then I always forget about it, and I remember again when you bring it up. For me, it just doesn't. You shared screen once of how it looks for you, and for me, it just doesn't look like that. It feels like really hard to find where to see notifications. It's not on ZenHub, right? It's straight on GitHub.
Yeah, if you go to github.com/notifications, what do you see? I'm going to drop in this channel too. Do you not see this? And then you could choose just the one repository that you want to look at.
Oh, okay. That was the...
Yes.
Okay.
We've got Livia!
Yeah, thanks.
Cool. Cool, it's probably helped other people too. And now I'll pass to Nate for tomorrow's spotlight. Do we have something lined up? Do we need help?
We currently have Symmetric on, but Uzi said there may be some potential conflicts, so I have a backup in mind, but so just organizing that at the moment. So Symmetric is on the schedule for tomorrow.
Cool.
Until further notice.
And if anyone has any ideas, please share them with Nate or drop them in the Spotlight tracker. Cool. Okay. So there's two things I just want to share with the stewards today. One is that Friday at 8 p.m. there's going to be a conversation around initial buy-in and drafting a proposal to look at, to have a conversation or hopefully even draft a proposal, really thinking about what would an acceptable structure be, use cases for initial buy-in and actions needed. We have a deadline of October 26th. And I would think we should probably have at least a signal that it's a passable proposal by then. And the idea would be that if we can't, maybe this is not something that the TEC should do. If we can't get around, if we can't get some passable idea agreed on. I guess, so everyone is invited to that. It's in the TEC calendar. But here is the agenda, and feel free to drop your thoughts if you can't attend or ideas that you want us to look at.
I'd like to add a point in the agenda. And yeah, how are we going to hold this money before before the during that time, like if we go to the reward system, okay, that goes to the rewards DAO. But if we have other funds, how are we going to help them?
Yeah. It's the structure basically. Like, where do we hold it?
Okay.
Who's responsible? Who has access? It's like that whole. It's the big question, actually. Cool.
Could I also bring something up real quick?
Sure.
The snapshot. We have 2 votes on our snapshot that are kind of waywardly. I don't know, but it's worth exploring.
We have votes right
Yeah,
we
2
had-
proposals.
We had a little chat about this. One of them is clearly a spam. And then, this donate. And then I saw who was the person that voted yes. And it was Deep Crypto Dive. So I went to talk to him. And he said he just voted to test the voting. Test if his voting was working. But he didn't intend nothing with the proposal. Or he voted no or something. And then there is another proposal that looked like a signal, like I want to get the attention of the community kind of thing. And I think Edu said you were going to reach out to him. Oh, Edu is not in this call.
Yeah, he's feeling ill and it wasn't able to join us today.
And then the other thing we considered was to put only people that have TCH tokens to be able to propose. And that's a little time consuming. Like we would have to add each address there. Zeptiman said he would down to do that. That would be like quickly obsolete with time, with more people getting tokens. But something for us to consider.
I think the intention with that was, we put all the hatches and then we just do like we do with praise. Like not everyone will wanna propose. Like everyone, if they want to propose in the future, they just ask for proposing powers. We just add the address and I think it should be scalable this way. It's like you don't need to put everyone who's holding tokens, but only the people who want to. Like we put all the hatches now, but in the future, only people who ask for. If you guys think that's a good idea.
I think if we do that, we should have a space on the forum where people can set up a proposal for themselves for the snapshot and submit it, and it can be evaluated by that group. But yeah, I don't know.
It should be evaluated. I think if like we have one criteria for everyone that is having tokens and then you can propose, I think that should remain the same for everyone. But we can set up other things, kind of like maybe like a proposal round. Like maybe we have batches of times where it's open to make proposals, and then we could set that up on Snapshot, and then times where that would help for people to know when they can vote, what are the proposals there, and for us to get like a comms awareness for it.
If you want to make the criterion for submitting a proposal just that you have tokens, you could set it up so that you have to like stake like even a millionth of a token or whatever in order to do the proposal. I don't know if that would be more work, less work, or if it's an issue in some other way. Like we have to stake at one hive now, but that's because of Celeste. But you don't have to have. I mean, I don't remember how much it was, but if you, that seems to me like the simple way to require. If you're requiring having the tokens. Does that make sense?
Yeah, maybe we can look into options for how to deal with this. What is the best way on Snapshot specifically?
Sounds like a great Zen Hub issue.
I can make it. So
this is super interesting, actually. Wow. so this one I assume will just not pass and go away. And this one doesn't have any relevance because it's not an on-chain vote, so we can't allocate funding. But the signaling is very high in favor of this. And I'd like to ask how we should move forward with this.
I
You
think
mentioned
2 votes.
what?
I think there's just 2. I mean, 1 whale, of course, but 2 votes.
Yeah, I personally like the idea too. I was just not voting because I don't know, but I would vote yes on this. I think it's a good initiative.
Yeah, what we talked with Edu was that to talk to this person. I think Chewy also know who he is, right? And then we could ask him to post this on the forum because I think a lot of people would have like ideas or comments or even a way to connect. And that's the bad thing about Snapshot, that you can't like write anything anywhere.
Can somebody remove a proposal? Can the person who submitted the proposal remove the proposal?
Yeah, can be removed by me, Nate, or Libby.
Should we look at either reaching out to the person? I'm happy to do it if it's reaching out to the person and have them either submit this to the forum for discussion, but this isn't the right place to submit this proposal because we can't really approve it here. We could maybe signal. Yeah, I'm a little confused by how we actually handle this, to be honest, because it seems to be a proposal for a real project, although there's no price and there's no cost and no funding for it in the project itself.
Can you scroll down more? Does it have his name? No, it doesn't. Okay. I can reach out to him. He reached out to me when he made the proposal. I told him, it's like, well, yeah, but it's like, this seems more like a conviction voting thing, honestly. It's like, it's just too soon. We're not actually creating this kind of stuff right now until after the upgrade. And we had a little discussion about it, but I can reach out to him and ask him to post it on the forum. Just copy, paste, and post so we can have a better discussion there.
It also
Or
seems
I can ask him how he would want me, if he wants me to post it, I could post it for him.
Yeah, it's interesting too because it also doesn't have the team yet. It's an idea that I didn't understand that this person wanted to lead it, but that wanted maybe somebody else to pick it up. So it sort of looks like maybe looking for some champions that can move this idea forward. And so we can't really do anything with Snapshot. So I think the forum would be the right place to get people who are excited about this idea to come together with a more structured proposal that can then actually be approved. But the approval of this is more like, nice idea, but there's no next step after this. Like if it passes, nothing happens. So it's a weird place for it.
Yeah, I'll reach out to him, and it sounds like we just either me or him post it on the forum.
You're muted, Tim.
I guess the other idea is that the spam one is we were discussing on how to limit spam, or we just let the spam happen and ignore it.
I think what Metaverde was saying, I think we just have to set it up. Like I for sure saw, like, for example, Sushi have like only people who have like 5, I don't know how much tokens, but you can choose, put a certain amount of tokens before voting. I was looking into it and I didn't found it, but that's true. Like this option exists, so it's just look it in there more and find and put a number, like avoid spam. Like I don't know, like maybe one. I don't know the number, but right now it's anyone can propose, even if they don't have any TCH token, and we could limit it, like having tokens, and maybe we can even add more restrictions in the future if it's still needed.
Cool. Okay, should we move to the next topic? Working group updates. I'm so excited because the last few stewards meetings, we have not been able to reach this point. So I tried to keep the agenda short. But let me just say before I do, thank you for raising that, Nate. Is there anything else we need to talk about before we do working group updates? Anything else that should have been on the agenda that isn't? Okay, cool. So then maybe we'll jump to SoftGov. Do you want to start us off and give an update from the SoftGov working group?
If somebody could go before me, that would be great.
Okay. Well, I'll do Communitas. So Communitas is getting some new breath of life in it because Katie had to leave quite suddenly. There's been a call to help, and I think people have really sort of heeded the call. Today, I don't know if it's the first orientation call I've gone to in a very long time, but there's 12 brand new people. So really amazing. It just sort of shows how many people are coming, and we're reaching this point where we're really scaling quickly. And I have a feeling that the better we get with our onboarding process, our orientation, the scouts doing outreach, the lounge, the more people will come to the community. So I don't think 12 is going to be our record, actually. But there is, I am helping with it. Eduardo is helping with it still. We still have the working group funding to work on, which I hope can be drafted by tomorrow, and really focusing on people who are landing today. There's a really interesting project. If anyone wants to look at, it's called Nick's. Probably most people have seen it, but Nick has a proposal for a dashboard that is really quite thorough. It's really worth, it would be sort of a community member dashboard. It's worth people having a look at just to see the work that she's put into it and the ideas around future part of onboarding. And yeah, it's really, really very detailed. And I would say so the idea of like having a world-class onboarding process is sort of our main focus right now. And the idea that there are people who are landing today that need to sort of be handheld and moved through the understanding of what the TEC is and matching with different skill sets and different working groups is probably our prime focus right now. And then, yeah, that's what I'll say for Communitas. And maybe I'll pass to Griff for params and common swarm.
Absolutely. We're pretty basic. I mean, params is doing a huge, well, I should say our Brazilian ninjas are doing a huge hack session today. They're in person, having like an all-day hackathon to get the final like high priority issues out for the dashboard. And tomorrow in the community call, if we're able to present it and we have the high priority issues solved, then we'll do a param party on Friday. So Friday at 9 p.m. right before the meme party. So you'll see it on the calendar tomorrow if it's going. Otherwise, I'm sorry, but there are some important issues that need to be solved before it makes sense for people. Like if there's bad data, don't design your bonding curve, So we have to just solve some of those things. And I think it will be solved. I'd say I'm like 80% certain that we'll have a param party on Friday. And but it'll still be more like for beta testing, and we'll still have lots of low priority issues that also need to be addressed before it's like, hey world, play with it. But of course, the people who are itching, those early adopters, we're going to start inviting them tomorrow on Friday. And then, and the biggest thing that we need really is some review over the Learn modules. One of the things that we really want to do is like make it really easy for a group to come in and read. Like so no one's reading the Learn module. We can't even get people to review the Learn module. So we're thinking that maybe we need like an audio of it And maybe if someone was just able to push play and have it smashed in their face, maybe they would read it or listen to it. So, but we have to make sure that we have the text correct and validated before we record it, because it would be annoying to make changes. So that's that's probably the other big push that we're going to do to finish the sprint. And on Common Swarm, another hackathon is also happening. Paulo and Sem are in the same place in the Github house in Barcelona. So they'll be hacking on things. They're a little distracted. I think scope creep is still like our biggest challenge, but I think we have it figured out. Our deadline, our internal deadline for having a demo for everyone to play with and having it ready to launch basically is November 4th. So the demo should happen before that, at least a week before that, if not 2 weeks before that. We can close the migration tools. We can close that. So that's cool. They did
The deadline for? Sorry. What is November 4th?
November 4th is the deadline for our internal deadline that we have to be able to launch a commons by November 4th. That means the bonding curve code needs to be reviewed, or sorry, it was already reviewed. We need to add the additions, and then the final review from Brett needs to be done. We have to have a demo by the community. We have to have convert working, and it doesn't matter if we have the 75% or not by that deadline. That's not in the scope for the deadline, because that 75% work seems to be really, it's a rabbit hole that I don't think that we should be blocked by, I want to say. In case it can't happen at launch, it can happen after launch. So that's what we're trying to do with the Common Swarm. And awesome. I guess, yeah, I'll pass it to you, Tim.
Okay, and maybe I'll ask Chewy if you feel like giving an update from Comms Amplify.
If I can wait for 5 minutes more, I'm still working out some notification updates. Sorry, cool. Tam.
No worries. Okay, great.
Yeah, so the rules for praise and quantification is almost done. Mitch and I were working on the description of all of the process that he posted on last Friday. So that is in forum. If anyone have questions about that, it's all there. And part of the quantification strategies are all in there. And now I'm just working on the rules of praise. And it feels not so like super certain about how to go, because it feels like it has a lot of just like the way we've been doing it already. And I'm just trying to think what are some like small changes that will be very effective and easy for everyone to integrate. But yeah, since now it would be really cool if praise is done in a very like descriptive way, and we can start practicing already. And then integrating the feedback.
Can I just, maybe that's something we can start modeling as the stewards. Praising. So maybe, so the idea, I don't know if you want to share, like how should we be, how could we be better praisers?
Yeah, so some things I was looking, I've been reading a lot of the praise, and there's a lot of like, I praise them for all they did, or for always bringing something, or for doing that thing that is like a huge thing. So if we try to, like every time we see some of this like hyperlative coming up, how could we be more specific about it? And think of like, if someone didn't see the name of the person that is being praised, just have that as a back thought. How would they know how to quantify that, even if we decide to keep the name or not. But imagining that for like having a more descriptive writing.
A lot of this comes from the call, the community call. So we should probably make sure that we practice that in the community call, and that we are descriptive in the community call for Ivy to write it down and transcribe, because otherwise it will continue to happen. So maybe we can like model it in the community call, which will be very influential to the rest, and I can try to announce something along those lines in the community call tomorrow. Actually, could you oh no, I guess we don't do slides yet. Okay, never mind. I'll just announce it at the beginning of the call. But the thing is, at the beginning of the call, I announce it. Most people aren't there, so maybe I'll just like make a break when I feel like there's enough people in, and just make a second announcement or something.
Yeah, and the thing is that this will take time, so it's so like even I've been trying to praise in a more specific way, and I see myself doing in a general way a lot of the times. So I think it is something that will take time for everyone to be more used to it, and it's fine. But you're right, having and practicing in the community call, especially talking, is so hard because it's harder to think on the spot. But maybe a lot of us write it down already, so I will write something for you tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I'm just going to say, hey, don't try to praise the most number of people that you can. Think about the quality of the praise over the quantity of praise, and try to describe it. That's all I'll say. And then hopefully all of us can model that, and then it'll be, if we're all doing it, everyone else will just follow suit.
Yeah. Cool. So yeah, the covenant. I did start to integrate a lot of the feedback, and I think it's almost good, but there are more things. There was one feedback from Jess that I felt that it resonated with me, but it was hard to like, should I change the structure now of not having like soft gov versus hard gov? Maybe that's something we can chat a little bit more later, but how does that sound to people, like that it doesn't make sense to separate between like on-chain and off-chain? But I'll ask a few people about that. And what else? Oh, and then the AMA session didn't really fly, but some people sent me questions on DM. And I think a lot of this AMA things are happening in the orientation call. But I can make a compilation of the questions I've been receiving in private, and then share in the chat, share some answers about it. And then, the decision-making infographics, I think, I don't know, it didn't really work how I approached it on the call yesterday, but I'm talking to Acid Laser for us to see what is the best flow. I tried to experiment some things on Miro to put like, what are the questions and what are the things that come one after the other. So it's slightly on progress. And I don't know, Eduardo, if you started to look into the snapshot template. Oh, Eduardo's not here.
Yeah. And then there's one other thing, the boardroom. I think this is assigned to Nate, and he and I are kind of really excited about putting the TEC in boardroom. I meant to do this when we were doing it, but I'll take Matteo and Livia off so that it looks like it's only one person, 8, driving it. I don't know if there's any update on that, but Nate and I are going to have a quick sync right after this, so we could talk about that and update this issue then. Unless Nate, you want to give an update on it now?
No, we can talk about it after because it still needs to be a lot of questions need to be answered. So
Cool. Awesome. Thanks, Livia. Chewy, how are you feeling? You ready, or shall we?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Share your updates.
Okay, so I'd like to start with issue 901, which is an epic. I got an update from Gabi from OneHive. He already knows some people in Deep DAO, so we're gonna start with this. I'm gonna be supporting him so that they can list Gardens as a new platform instead of Aragon, and it should be pretty easy to list the TEC token after that. So I'm gonna be updating this epic in the next week. Also about CoinGecko, since you're here, Septi, I wanted to ask you if you heard something from them or any updates, since I haven't really been able to reach out to them. I don't know if it's because we're not out yet, but the intention is to be listed as soon as possible after the launch. So do you have any updates?
Yeah, I had the
from
intention.
CoinGecko?
I just get inside their Telegram and Discord, and I had the intention just to go through it like after this call. I'll let you know as soon as I know something.
Okay. These are all part of an epic, Sam. It's just
okay.
every listing is every listing is in a separate issue.
Okay, was this one closed by accident then, or was it closed on purpose? Oh, you're saying it's a duplicate. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. Cool.
And what else? Okay. About Twitter scrapping. I haven't been able to talk to Manu the last couple of days. He's been missing from some calls. I don't know if maybe he has like some personal issues. But I'll be checking it with him for the Twitter scrapping status. Also, issue number 453, the Hatch success story. I wanted to ask if this is something that we're still interested in doing. I feel that we could get some new contributors to try out writing for this.
It feels a little old, honestly. I mean, we could write it for posterity, but it's not. I feel like it needs to be a little more timely sometimes.
Okay, so should I close this issue and maybe try for having something for new contributors? Maybe we could try it around the comments upgrade, which is going to be more updated.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
Okay.
talking about the future is usually more exciting than talking about the past for people.
Okay, perfect. So I'll be closing this and posting a new one. Probably in the product backlog could be a better idea by now. Just so that we don't miss on this, like this current issue. What else? I just closed a bunch of issues, but I did it directly in Github. So I don't know if this. Sorry.
No problem.
This, okay.
I have a question.
Yes.
No, go ahead, finish. I'll ask at the end.
I wanted to ask if maybe for issue number 958 about the like the orientation and onboarding dashboard. Is this something that is going to be closer to Communitas than communications? Like should we maybe like assign this to the Communitas working group, or I mean, it's just that for now I feel that Communitas is coming together pretty well. So maybe we could just like stay in the loop so that we can support the dashboard with orientation videos, which is something that we currently have assigned. So would you agree with this, Sam?
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense, actually. I mean, I think all working groups will probably have involvement in this dashboard idea, and Communitas will have like a strong involvement in it too. But I think that it can be incubated under the Communitas working group as its own mini project.
Okay, and I'll also, before I forget, I wanted to see if we could invite Acid Laser to the repo so that he could keep some of the issues that he was taking updated. But I'm not really sure how to do that.
I thought he was already in here. No. What do you know what his handle is in GitHub?
It's the same as Acid Laser.
Oh, okay. I will add him, and if I have any problems, I will reach out to him and work with him to make sure he's on GitHub. Okay, I'll take that on now after this call.
Thanks, Sam. And what else in progress?
How about the October campaign? How is that looking?
We are a little bit stuck with that because of we wanted to wait for the first maybe couple of weeks and start pushing like more stuff around like MVV or simple stuff, because like specific steps for orientation, we agreed that it might not be accurate at this point. We're still working in the document, but we agreed that we were going to stand by for maybe the first couple of weeks, just so that we are able to start with the same narrative, just so that we don't like change it or yeah, like we don't want the same thing like to happen with that happened with the orientation videos. So we were like right now standing by for observing some of the changes for this.
Okay. Hey, I noticed on our calendar tonight, or at least tonight in EST, there is a TE Scouts call. It says Gideon-TE Scouts. Do you know what that is? I guess Gideon, who's really becoming involved in our community in a few different ways. Communitas is one of the ways. Do you know if do you happen to know what that is, or does anyone here know about that yet?
I just noticed it. I was also going to ask Edu about it.
I have a meeting with Gideon today. What is the issue that's opened?
Oh, it's just on our calendar it says Gideon-TE Scouts on the TEC calendar.
Yeah, that is my fault.
Oh,
I scheduled him.
That should be on your personal calendar.
Yeah, that is correct.
Okay, cool. That answers that.
For that. All right, yeah, I will fix that.
Okay, cool.
And I think the last issue in progress would be 969, which is Libby. And I already posted an update and tagging Acid Laser. Yeah, like we really tried to take this opportunity so that we could onboard another designer. But yeah, like we talked about this, like the current issue with new contributors yesterday in the comms call. So yeah, like we just can't do it right now. It's a whole topic like about compensation and other stuff. So yeah, in the end, I feel Acid Laser will be just more familiar and also quicker with it.
Cool. Okay.
I'd like to say one thing. There was a project in comms like Sam and Jess were working on, and I think it's super cool, and maybe we could retake it somehow. I'm just throwing it. And they were, like all this totem culture, and maybe have a story around the garden, and like one hive are the bees. Look at the cool picture metaverse they have. Like people wants to be something, and just a story. Look, like I imagine a cartoon thing, like, and being involved. I don't know, like Sam and Jess were working on that, and I was so excited when they were talking about it. But yeah, they're not doing it anymore, and if would that be possible, I think that's a very cool project that would help communicate the DAO.
Tam, I also want to say two things before the end of the call, and is that the Graviton training is going well, but there are a lot of things also happening in Gravity. Today I will be moving the cases from the registry that is a spreadsheet to the ZenHub board, and also I really want to continue promote engagement in the NBC book club and also in the TC lounges. The book club, I was surprised. I have really loved the book, reading the book, and and also the TC lounges are going really well. So like as the stewards, to promote those spaces also within your calls. And that's it.
Oh, and on that, just wanted to add that I spoke with Vikram yesterday. He's Wiki, and they are starting the second book of their book club that happens in an Asian-friendly time zone. I think it's every Saturday morning for Europe, and they are starting to read The Sovereign Individual, and they just finished Governing the Commons. So if anyone is interested and it works out for your time zone, or if you know someone wanting to participate in the TEC, but that is not on the time zone for our calls, you can send them there. And there is a hashtag thread in the general chat where you can find all the information about their meetings.
Can somebody drop that in the agenda? I didn't catch it. We are at the top of the hour. So sorry, we are at the top of the hour. That is a great book, and I think it'd be amazing I'd love to join that if I could in terms of timing. Yeah, I guess I'll look for it. Thank you for sharing that, Juan Carlos. Sorry, Septimus, your idea of the revisiting the narrative, like an overarching narrative for TEC, got lost a little bit. But yeah, I think that's something that could happen at some time, hopefully soon. Feel free to open an issue and just leave the issue open until we can pull it into a sprint or have the right people who can move that forward.
Okay.
Thanks, everyone. We are at the top of the hour. I think people
Tam.
have to jump to.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah,
See you
thank
later.